What's going on, guys? Welcome to Denk Does WWE, and this is going to be the first exclusive upload to this channel, so be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe right now if you haven't already. And today we are reviewing last night's Monday Night Raw from April 21st, 2014, so let's get right to it. So, from top to bottom, it really wasn't the best Monday Night Raw. It definitely lacked when you compare it to the Raws from, the few previous weeks. But WrestleMania season is over, so I guess you kind of expect the hype to die down a little bit. But, I mean, overall, it was a decent show, so let's go segment by segment and discuss what happened on Monday Night Raw. It kicked off with Daniel Bryan looking very emotional. For anyone who doesn't know, Daniel Bryan's father actually passed away sometime over the weekend or early Monday morning. So obviously thoughts are with his family. So Daniel Bryan and Brie have a really nice, little segment in the middle of the ring. And Stephanie comes out and informs them that on May 4th at Extreme Rules, a pay-per-view that I will be in attendance at, which I'm very much looking forward to, it will be Daniel Bryan versus Kane for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Kane, the monster, has been unleashed once again. Kane attacks Daniel Bryan, tombstones him in the ring, tombstones him on the table, tombstones him on the steps. This is all over the place. Now, the thing I really did not like about this segment, honestly, is Stephanie's role here. I didn't really understand what they were trying to get across to the audience, because it was Stephanie who told Kane to bring the monster back out, and who told Kane to be, the devil's favorite demon once again. And meanwhile, he's attacking Daniel Bryan, and she's screaming for him to stop, and she's like, "Oh my God, why are you doing this?" Stop. Like, it didn't make sense. Stephanie, in my opinion, kind of took away from the segment. I think it would have been a little more impactful if Steph just left the ring and then Kane attacked, and it was just this heinous assault by Kane without Stephanie screaming for him to stop for no reason whatsoever. So that was the opening segment. Daniel Bryan gets carted off. I assume this is, a way to keep him off work for a little bit so he can deal with his family situations. I don't know if it's going to have any effect on the Extreme Rules match. It probably won't, but I guess only time will tell that. Next up, Bad News Barrett, who comes out to a great reaction versus Sheamus in the second round of the Intercontinental Championship tournament. FYI, sidebar, I love tournaments. I don't know what it is about tournaments. I'm a huge, huge fan. King of the Ring, any kind of, elimination tournament, I'm all for. Bad News Barrett has his pyro. Looks pretty badass. Really good physical match. Honestly, I thought Sheamus was going to win, but surprisingly, Wade Barrett, Bad News Barrett, gets the win and advances to the finals of the Intercontinental Championship tournament. That was followed by a great promo by Bray Wyatt, as per usual, telling Cena your fans don't love you anymore. The boos and the detractors are getting louder and louder, and there's nothing you can do about it. Great promo. Solid as always from Bray Wyatt, so hats off to him. Next up was, oh my God, 3MB with Hornswoggle against Los Matadores and El Torito. Just, nah. Like, I mean, I get the whole, little person versus little person, and they try to entertain the audience a little bit with that, but this was just, this wasn't needed, and it kind of didn't really bring anything to the table, in my opinion. But that was followed, luckily, by a great promo from Evolution and Triple H, who apparently had the flu or had some sort of cold going on, because his voice was a lot raspier than it usually is. But the promo itself was badass. JBL made a really awesome statement about Evolution that I didn't realize before this, is that with Evolution, just the three of them, not even counting Ric Flair, just the three of them, 31 world titles between Randy Orton, Triple H, and Batista. And if you put Ric Flair in there, who's, 16 times? So between four people, the original Evolution, that's 47 world titles. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Something about the Evolution thing I really like. I like them being back. Normally, I don't like the reformation of old teams and bringing back stuff that, was popular a while ago and may not be as popular now. But I dig what they're doing. And the Shield comes out. I think Shield versus Evolution is going to be a sick match at Extreme Rules, and I'm glad that I'm going to be there. The Shield looks like they're going to come up the ramp and attack Evolution, but all the heels come out and back up Triple H and the crew. Really cool segment, a really nice little teaser for Shield versus Evolution, which I'm very much looking forward to. After that, it was the Usos versus Goldust and Cody Rhodes. Good tag team match. Cody gets his ass whooped, and he storms off and pushes Goldust and doesn't want any more of it. This could be leading to, you know, Goldust and Cody finally breaking up, which I've wanted for quite some time, because Cody is definitely a star of the future, and I want to see him get a really big push. I don't know if they're gonna make him the heel or make Goldust the heel, or somebody's gonna turn on somebody, and I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. But I do hope that Cody gets a decent push in these next couple months. I kind of wanted the whole Goldust Cody Rhodes WrestleMania match to happen, so I was kind of hoping that the breakup happened before WrestleMania. It didn't, obviously, but a side note, Ryback, oh my god, I hate that name. I hate when they just throw people's names together and they just try to mesh people's music together. Oh, I'm not a fan of that at all. I'm really not. But they seem to be getting another big push, which doesn't really sway me either way. I was a fan of Curtis Axel at one point. I actually enjoyed Ryback stuff at one point, but they teetered on the point of no return. So if they're getting a push now, it could be a good thing. The tag team division was strong for a while. It's kind of starting to dwindle off a little bit, but I guess if Ryback gets a big push and they can be a dominant tag team, then who knows what can come from there. Up next, Layla versus Emma. Cute little match. Emma had her own Cobra, which was a funny little moment, and Emma gets the win over Layla. From there, we go to the backstage John Cena segment. And I definitely have something to say about this, because this, now hear me out for a second, this could be, and I've never said this before, this could be a pretty good segue to a John Cena heel turn. Now hear me out. I know all the stuff about, oh, they're never going to turn Cena heel because, you know, too much merchandise, and, you know, people wouldn't believe it, and all this kind of stuff. You know, they haven't turned him by now, so they're never going to turn him. All right, I get it. I understand. But this could be a way to do it that makes a little bit of sense, because they're having this app vote to see who John Cena is going to face on Monday Night Raw, either Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, or all three members of the Wyatt family. And they're making it seem like these are John Cena's fans that are, you know, throwing him to the wolves, and it could be such a great and logical segue into, you know, Cena being like, oh, I gave you everything, and you know, you turned on me. I've always given you 100%. I've always risen above all these blah 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 for you, and you turned on me, and you throw me to the wolves, and you follow, you know, this crazy Bray Wyatt. And it could be a good way to kind of develop a little more of a rift between Cena and the audience, and eventually turn into a full-fledged heel turn. I think it could work. I think a decent run as a heel and then flipping him back to a babyface maybe a year or so down the line could be, you know, a breath of fresh air into the Cena character. I would like to see it. I know a lot of people would like to see it. A lot of people probably would not like to see it also. It's one of those things that there are a lot of emotions and opinions on both sides of the scale, so we're gonna. I've been saying this a lot in this review, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. So I think it would be a good chance for Cena to become a heel. That's the talking point of this episode. So let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Moving on, Cesaro comes out to his new music, which it didn't do much for me. I don't know. It seemed a little generic. It didn't really fit the big siren and the whatever, and you know, it is what it is. But Heyman comes out and reminds us about the Beast Incarnate who broke the Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. Another great shouting segment from Paul Heyman. I don't like that they're trying to turn Cesaro heel. I think he got so much support between leading up to WrestleMania and then his performance at WrestleMania. I liked putting him with Paul Heyman, but just because Heyman's a heel doesn't necessarily mean that Cesaro has to be. But the way that they're making Heyman act around Cesaro kind of gives everybody no choice. So we're pretty much made to accept at this point that Cesaro is a heel. The match versus RVD, the next round of the Intercontinental Championship tournament, something about this match, it didn't click. They didn't seem like they were on the same page. There were some okay spots, but for some reason, RVD gets the win. If you were a betting man, I bet you would have lost a lot of money, because I think a lot of people were banking on Sheamus versus Cesaro, in the finals of the tournament, and suddenly we have RVD versus Wade Barrett, and I'm definitely hoping it goes to Barrett now that he's in the finals. But then on top of that, Swagger comes out and attacks Cesaro, so now he's supposed to be a heel, but he's the one getting attacked and getting blind. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think they're confusing a lot of fans about what they really want Cesaro to be. Hopefully they can straighten that out in the near future, because I would like him to be a babyface. I think he would have a great run in that role. I guess he's going to have a program with Swagger now, which I'm not necessarily that excited about. I think it would have been nice to have him as the Intercontinental Champion or fighting for the Intercontinental title. But as of now, the finals of the Intercontinental Championship Tournament are going to be Wade Barrett and RVD. This was followed by Oksana, for some odd reason, versus Paige. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of Oksana's work. I think she still has a long way to go. As a lot of the divas do, to be honest. It's not the strongest wrestling division, especially now that AJ's gone. AJ was one of the few, shining lights in the divas division. I think Tamina will be a decent opponent for Paige for the Divas Championship at Extreme Rules. I definitely dig what Paige is doing. The match itself was kind of, it was kind of sloppy. It was what it was. I love that finisher, though, that whatever it was called, the reverse scorpion lock. I don't know. It's great. It's definitely one of my favorite finishers. Paige gets the win and is trucking forward to Extreme Rules. 2 matches left to go, one of which was Alexander Rusev versus poor Sin Cara, who has just fallen from grace, if you can call it grace, in such a major way these past few years. It was also announced that Xavier Woods and R-Truth will have a 2-on-1 handicap match at Extreme Rules against Rusev. I like Rusev, but this was another match last night that it didn't click to me. It just didn't seem like it flowed well. Honestly, if I'm being real, a lot of Sin Cara's matches don't flow very well, no matter who's under the mask. But, like I said, I like Rusev. I think he can bring a lot to the table, but this whole night, it seemed like a lot of matches just weren't on the same page. I don't know what it was. But just to me, a lot of them just didn't flow right. But that brings us to the finale of the show. Who is John Cena going to face? And, of course, he's fighting all 3 members of the Wyatt family. I'm thinking this whole time, okay, Cena needs to get destroyed. This can lead into the whole thing about the fans turning on him, and it could be a good segue into a new chapter for John Cena. But, yeah, a DQ finish for some reason, even though all 3 men were legal in the match. So, for some odd reason, a DQ finish. And this worries me. Honestly, this worries me because if John Cena can't even lose clean to all 3 members of the Wyatt family, is Bray Wyatt gonna stand a chance against John Cena in a steel cage at Extreme Rules 2 weeks from now? So, that was your Monday Night Raw from April 21st, 2014. Top to bottom, an average Monday Night Raw. A lot of the matches just didn't seem to flow well. Some of the storyline elements didn't really click or make too much sense. So hopefully they can kind of pick the momentum back that they've had for these past few weeks next week. A lot of things developing at the moment, so, I look forward to seeing where some of these storylines end up going. Before you leave, be sure to leave a thumbs up on this video and subscribe right now for much more WWE content. I know wrestling is a very, specific thing. People either love it or they don't. So I wanted to create a separate channel where we can all just talk about the stuff that we enjoy about professional wrestling. So be sure to leave a thumbs up. Subscribe right now if you haven't already. Thank you, as always, for watching. I'm the Denk, and I'll see you soon.